In this doubles lesson, we're going to go over scouting. This is part of our three-part series on pre-match preparation. If you missed part one, we covered your team strategy. So all the things you need to go over with your doubles partner to create a strategy and a game plan going into each match. Like I said, this video is going to be all about scouting the opponent. So whether you've played them before or you have a chance to watch them before you get to play them, if you've already completed your round in a tournament, for example, I'm going to show you how to scout. And then in the next video, we're going to cover the warm-up, and we're going to kind of tie all of this together and how you should use your warm-up based on your team strategy and your scouting. So let's dive into scouting. So there's a few things that I like to look for when I'm scouting an opponent, an opposing team. So number one is a weaker player. So obviously, if there's a weaker player, we want to play at that player more often. You'll also look for a weaker position on the court. So maybe the players are roughly the same overall, but one of them is worse at the net or one of them is worse at the baseline. You want to know that with your partner so that when you get to the middle of a point, you'll know this is a good baseline player. Let's try to change something up, maybe bring them forward. Or this is the weaker net player. So first time I get a short ball, maybe I'm going to attack them. So figure out not only which player is weaker, but specifically where are they stronger versus weaker, where are they more comfortable versus less comfortable on the court. And then of course you want to look at the weaker stroke as well. Typically for the volleys, it's going to be a backhand volley. Ground strokes, it'll vary. A lot of guys have better forehands than backhands. A lot of girls have better backhands than forehands, but there's tons of exceptions to those as well. So you want to consider all of this, talk it through with your partner, incorporate it into your team strategy, and figure out what the best matchups that you can create are. You'll want to look at their serves as well, so figure out a game plan for each of their serves if you can watch them serve. If not, you'll figure it out in the warm-up. Maybe they have a really good slice serve in the deuce court. How are y'all going to handle that? Maybe they have a really good flat first serve with a lot of pace. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to hit lob returns? Are you going to just try to block it back cross court? Do they have a second serve that's pretty weak so that you can step forward and return and volley or hit at the weaker net player? Talk through this with your partner so that you can figure out a game plan on the opponent's serve and improve your chances of breaking serve. And then of course you want to study their return. So this is most applicable if you're able to watch them play a match before you actually face them. And I want you to look at their forehand and their backhand return and look at a few different things. So number one, how balanced are they? How comfortable do they look with each of those returns? Number two, what type of return are they hitting off of each wing? So maybe they lob their backhand return almost every time. Come up with a strategy with your partner to kind of negate that lob. Figure out if you need to step back for the overhead or if you need to serve and volley so that you can take a high volley through the middle and apply pressure on the opponent. Whatever it may be to kind of negate that lob. Maybe they slice it cross court every time and it's slow so you can poach and get an easy volley. Maybe they just never go down the line, or maybe they go down the line a lot. So think about their direction, the height of the ball over the net, and the pace that they hit each of these returns with on the forehand and the backhand side. And then you can go back to your team strategy to figure out a game plan against each of the returners. And then come up with a rally plan. So I like to think about this in terms of the position. So if one player is weaker at the net, we know if they both get to the net, we're going to attack this player, probably their backhand volley. If they're both at the baseline, which player is weaker at the baseline, and what is the weakest stroke? What is most likely to miss or give us a short ball to come in on? And we'll go to their backhand or forehand. Or if the particular player is significantly weaker, we'll just go at that player and not worry about the specific stroke. So you want to have a plan for kind of all of these in-match scenarios that you're going to run into. And then you want to tie it back to your team strategy in terms of matchups. So maybe this is their stronger baseline player. but maybe you feel like you're stronger at the baseline than them. So this is an okay matchup for you, even though this is their strength, because it's an even bigger strength for you. So you have to kind of combine the scouting with the team strategy to figure out what the best matchups are, how you can kind of manipulate the opponents and shift them around to positions they're uncomfortable with, and then get into your ideal positions and expose more of your strengths, expose the opponent's weaknesses while hiding your weaknesses at the same time. So hopefully this helps you kind of think about creating a game plan with your partner going into each match. Like I said in the next video, we're going to talk about what your warm-up needs to look like based on all of this information we've talked about in these two videos. So stay tuned for that video coming up. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss it, and I'll see you then.